Hi, hello, and welcome to issue 634 of Geek in the City Radio. I am your incredibly grumpy and frustrated host, Aaron Duran.
I am your waiting patiently Beanarita.
Yeah.
And we have guests tonight.
Hello,
In
I
the
am
new-
your lemony fresh Christian.
Hello, I am your kind of out of adjectives, Edalyn.
Oh, we used them all up. Sorry.
Well done.
How's it going, everyone?
Pretty good over here.
Doing okay, I suppose.
So yeah, everyone who I'm just gonna say right here, we use this new app that up until today has been great. Like I figured out all the fun things I can do with it, and then apparently I learned that sometimes their ability to log in just doesn't work, and then they block you for 30 minutes.
That's
Yeah.
Which by itself is maybe not the end of the world, unless of course they don't happen to have live support.
None
what are you gonna
at
do?
all.
And guess what they don't happen to have?
They don't have live support.
Happy customers?
No, that's
I don't have that either.
no.
I mean, I'm not going to speak for anyone else. I don't know anyone else who uses this app, so.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, hadn't heard of it.
Yeah, they
until-
allegedly have like hundreds of thousands of users, but I mean,
Sure.
look, up until this moment, it's been very good. So
Yeah,
hopefully
because I'm like,
this is
I
just
don't think that we're like writing this app off yet in terms of like how we make this show happen. But maybe we're not done searching.
Man, I am so don't want to do that anymore, though. Anyway, a little peek behind the joys of podcasting and streaming curtain. It happens to everyone. I think I was watching like some role-playing stream that averages like 10 million users or viewers a month. And even there's the first 10 minutes are like, can't get audio to work. Don't know what's going on. Please bear with us. So it literally doesn't matter who you are. You know?
Everybody struggles with technology.
Yeah.
I mean, just logging on with you guys, my computer decided to suddenly attempt to have audio come out to me through some phantom thing that doesn't exist. So I couldn't hear you, and I'm going through going, what's wrong? Oh, it's made up imaginary speakers and is trying to use them.
Sounds coming out somewhere in Tierra del Fuego.
And
Yes.
it's so much fun. So I have this. This is actually why I stopped using it. Above me, I think some people have seen me post about this before. I have this cool light bulb that is also a USB speaker. And in theory, like it's really cool and fun. But it'll accept damn near any strong Bluetooth signal, and it allows itself to be overridden at times.
Whore.
Oy.
So I'm down here listening to music. I think this was like last Thursday or something. I'm just, bopping away to my tunes while I'm writing. And then I hear it go, bonka boom. And then it says, I won't give who they are, but it says like, blah, 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 connected.
Okay.
Then I hear some hardcore porn fucking coming through my speaker.
And it wasn't yours.
And it wasn't mine, because I, like all good people, use headphones when that's happening. And turn off Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who it was. Getty wasn't home, so it wasn't him.
Huh.
Jen was working, so there's no way it was her as well.
It's the attic people.
But we do have neighbors that are technologically not super savvy. And my money's on one of them.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Weird.
I absolutely assumed it was Getty.
No.
It's a
This
good
was
first
like
choice.
this was like 1:00 on a Thursday.
Jeez.
What does that have to do with anything? I
He's at
still would have
work
thought
on
it was
1:00
Getty.
on a Thursday.
I don't know the man's work schedule.
Well, I'm just saying.
Or his wank schedule.
That's true.
Wow, there you go. Nicely
So
done.
here's how my day started.
Hey.
The device.
Yes. My very own personal torture device.
The Theracane. I've got
Mhm,
one. I love
mhm.
it.
Actually, I might use it right now because I am in a lot of pain.
Take that, Daredevil. That's a powerful martial arts tool.
Mhm.
But I did get my back cracked,
There you go.
There's
Sounds
that.
magical.
and I learned that like one can have their leg pulled and it be a good thing.
Did they do that thing where they check to see if your legs are like different lengths because you're using your hips weird?
No, but probably because I've already had that done multiple other times by other rehab specialists at the hospital. By the way, I was greeted by 3 people like who just knew me on site when I was there this morning. So that's how my life is going.
Wait, well, because you're Portland famous, or because they're like, here comes the girl that's really broken?
Yeah. I'm like the only non-geriatric who's in there like almost every week at this point. And I keep seeing more and more people. First, like the regular rehab guy, and then a pain and yoga specialist, and then today it was a chiropractor, and then like I'll be back to see the other one next week, and they're trying to book me for more appointments, and I'm like, I can't. I'm going to be with your coworker that day.
Welcome to old age.
I'm not old. I know I joke about it a lot, but I'm actually not old, you guys, and it's not right.
Just look what you have to look forward to in like, a couple years then.
More of the same.
I know. I'm going to be like in a wheelchair before my parents.
Hot.
Or maybe I'll just try to be like really classy about it and get a vintner's cane.
There you go.
What's a
Yeah.
vintner's cane? I feel like I should know this.
It's got a pointy
You should-
end, right?
It's got a corkscrew inside.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay.
And probably other cool, like useful things for wine aficionados.
Testing soil and whatnot.
Ooh.
Just get something with a pointy bit.
Sword cane.
Sword cane. Sword cane flask
I was gonna say that they do make those. Not that I've ever searched for them.
with a taser in it.
I like how we're essentially turning Denise into the Penguin in a few years. Just different canes.
No comment. She's my favorite supervillain.
I'm already short and stout, so I'm like halfway there. I just need to be a little more crazy and
Penguin
look a lot-
or
and
teapot?
I would like to need to look a lot more like Danny DeVito before I officially, can be mistaken for.
No.
Hot.
No.
Do it.
I don't know if looking like Danny DeVito is strictly required for being the Penguin. There have been
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
We've got a new one coming out in like 3 weeks.
Is there a penguin in it?
Yeah.
Is it Jim Carrey?
No.
Well, forget it.
I forgot who it is, but someone who doesn't look like the Penguin.
Yeah, they're doing the hyper real Batman Riddler
Yes,
sort
right.
of thing.
Because you know what the Batman movies haven't been enough of lately? It's dark.
That'd be a nice change. Is to
Yeah,
have
I would love a
maybe
dark,
some.
hyper-realistic Batman in my cinema versions of them. Just been too light lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Norm says that look, y'all, I'm not a super villain. I'm an awesome villain.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Sure.
But now I do kind of want to hear you squawk like the Penguin, just to see if you got that down.
Give me an example.
Wah, 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 wah. You got to do that.
Whack, 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 whack.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
That's
right.
kind of a Batman 66 version of him.
Oh yeah.
Burgess Meredith, baby.
Yeah, little Burgess Meredith going on.
Threatening, but also precious.
You're an animal.
He's
You're an
pretty cute.
animal, Rocky.
Frightening, but also precious is kind of like my whole life goals. So
Yeah.
That's where you're at.
Right on track.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell's Penguin in the new one, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm really hit or miss with Colin Farrell.
Same.
Huh. He was Bullseye, and now he gets to be a Penguin.
I hated him in Daredevil.
I don't remember him in Daredevil. That's all.
That's
I know.
Bullseye. That's when he was Bullseye.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, I just don't remember his performance at all.
Did
I don't
not-
remember that movie at all, actually.
There's
Yeah.
probably a reason for that. That's your brain trying to protect you from trauma.
Yes, I'm
and other
denying it.
continuing harm.
fiercely in denial.
Norm also asked, wasn't the set of the Adam West Batman almost basically just whiskey and sex fest?
According to Burt Ward,
According to Burt Ward, he even joked that the porn parody that was made a few years ago, he's like, that's not that far off. Like, whoa.
Oh my god.
So anyway,
Yeah, so what? Yeah. The tech issues have thrown this entire show into chaos right now. This week, we're going to be giving our review of the indie horror flick Student Body, as well as a season recap and our thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett. And as I think a few people asked online, yeah, we're going to end up spoiling the Book of Boba Fett. Like, I don't know how we do a whole season recap without, spoiling it. And plus, it happened almost a week ago now. So that's how the internet works. You get 48 hours.
Yeah.
Statute
of limitations expires.
Right. As you can see, Cable's not joining us.
Oh,
he is on assignment. I think he's actually mentioned it.
We talked about it last week. His work shindig got rescheduled to precisely right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's having fun. So
I hope he's.
Yeah, I hope he is. Yeah.
And it takes two of us to fill his shoes.
Even if we even do.
Yeah.
Just to attempt it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
You needn't bother.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
He has, however, sent his thoughts on Student Body. So
yeah, so we'll still get to hear from Cable from beyond the streams. That could have gone better.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do we want to get started, or do we want some more of this shenanery first?
I feel like we need to get started.
Okay.
We started late. Thanks, Melon.
Boo.
Boo.
What do you want to start with then? Should we dive into Student Body or go into Book of Boba Fett?
Let's do Student Body, because I think that's going to be like our bigger thing tonight.
Yeah.
So, for anyone who didn't catch last week's show, Aaron did do a press junket interview with Leanne Kerr, the writer and director of the film. She was an interesting person to talk to. I was not expecting her to be so young.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't either. I mean, I do, my due diligence of Googling and whatnot, and I, learned she was young, from that. But even then, I was like, man, she's already got a feature film. Yeah, okay.
Cool.
I'm useless. Yeah, she was really fun to talk to. So, so I think Christian, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the movie. I don't know if you watched it with Denise.
I've seen it twice.
Oh, okay. So we've all seen it. Awesome.
Yeah, well, we watched the screener, and then after it released, and after we'd gotten a chance to catch the interview, we thought it would be a good idea to watch it again. Which I think I also mentioned last week. I'm like, it's kind of nice to watch a movie after you've had a little bit of insight into like what the director's thoughts and feelings were on certain things and what they were going for. It can change your own perspective a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cheat here a little bit. And actually, Cable was nice enough to actually write.
Did he do a synopsis?
Oh, well, he wrote like the blurb that's pretty much taken from the site. So, like you said, written and directed by Leanne Kerr. High school student Jane Shipley seeks to mend her splintering relationship with childhood best friend Merritt and fit in with her rebellious peers. When Jane's math teacher oversteps his bounds, an apathetic high school administration forces Jane and Merritt to take matters in their own hands, driving their relationship into further turmoil and inciting deadly consequences.
That is a pretty good synopsis.
Yeah.
It doesn't give away too much.
No, I mean, the trailer does show it as like a high school, I don't want to say throwback, but like homage to 80s high school slasher movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It has that modern element of like, okay, this teacher did something not great, and that is sort of the impetus for for a lot of what happens in the movie.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I mean, where do we want to start on this one? I mean, I can say like overall, like I enjoyed the film. It's it's got some misses for me. I feel like there's some references in the very beginning that don't really get revisited a whole lot for me,
Yeah.
especially the more childhood elements, like the elements of Jane and Merritt when they were younger kids. That's not really revisited, at least as in my viewing of it.
They touch on it, but at no point do you ever get a very clear cut or like well narrated establishment of like we used to be close, this is what happened, and that's why we're not close now, and then this is how we feel about our relationship right now. It sort of is given to you a little bit at a time over the course of the movie,
and just enough to hint that something happened, I guess.
I think even as you're getting towards the more climactic parts of the film, they do dig a little deeper into that relationship, but even then it felt like it was lacking something, and I don't know if it's that they just like cut the scene in a way, or like wrote the relationship in a way that is incomplete, or
they
I
had
don't know.
Maybe they had to cut for time or pacing or something like that, and decided to try to trim it down.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
For me.
Also,
like you get the idea.
And there's a lot of allusions to things. A lot of them. There's like a lot of references to things that we don't know more about, and that kind of builds up the this happened, or I was your new mom, but there are so many of those. I really thought that they would come together in an explanation, or a little bit more of an overt here's what happened.
Right.
Yeah. And you get that with both Jane and Ellis as a sort of a love interest, but again, like things happen before that can really get explored. And then there's also the like potential romance between Nadia, that's Harley Quinn's character, and Eric, who I think they just called French.
Yeah.
There's like very obviously Harley Quinn Smith's character has romantic feelings for him, and she's trying to have that moment with him, and it's just like falling totally flat. And then without giving too much away, they do not get to revisit that topic.
Just a tease.
No, yeah. And I feel like it's not that the character of French wouldn't be interested. He's very much portrayed as the person who is pretty much clueless on all levels.
Yep.
Right.
He's
I think you get the vibe that like he has feelings for her too, but in that moment he's super oblivious.
Yeah. And also because he's just blasted to the gills.
Yes.
Because kind of that throwback to classic teen slashers. They end up, breaking into the school at night and find all the hooch.
There was also there was a super strong Breakfast Club vibe there too, with the getting where they in Breakfast Club, spoilers, they get stoned, and then there's there's the dancing montage.
Yeah.
Of all them dancing together, and I thought I would guarantee, or I would bet at least that was definitely in Kerr's mind.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of choices that are callbacks to films that were probably pretty formative on her while she was drafting this one.
Right. Yeah. And she mentioned no small number of them in the interview. So that she is a like a movie buff.
Yeah.
and probably has drawn a lot of inspiration from a lot of things. But
Right.
Christian, that reminded me of another like very sort of Breakfast Club like element when they're sort of like coming down off that real strong party vibe. And so like that's that time where like the talk maybe gets a little bit too real. And those would be the scenes where like way too much gets revealed in a moment of vulnerability from, you know, like the characters who are like too fucking cool for this to begin with.
What about you, Dad?
And even then, it did not really stick the landing in terms of like,
Not really. No.
wow, that shit just got really real. It almost did. I feel like it wanted to.
There was a
but
lot of
it did
that
not.
that weird game of how much money to do something to
The least
kill.
amount of money to kill the person you hate the most.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
That went on for a while, and I was hoping that would lead into maybe a little more revealing of character and stuff, but it didn't.
I do have to say, so I actually missed the part of last week's episode where you interviewed, or we're doing the interview thing with her. I was in class, and so I actually went into the movie completely blind. Had no idea even what kind of movie. Just Aaron said, "Here, watch this for the show." Go. And so I sat down going, student body, wonder what this is about. And I was genuinely had no idea it was a horror movie until the first beat of like where it turns.
Right. Oh,
and I was
wow.
like, is this like a coming of age thing? Which
So
is nothing against the movie. I walked into it completely blind and was just like, okay, here we go watching it. So it was just a very fun way for me to experience.
Yeah,
that's actually kind of
homework before.
That's actually kind of interesting because you're probably like the opposite of I was going into it, because I was like, all right, give me about 15 minutes of character development so that I give a shit when these people start being killed. Because spoilers, it's a horror movie; they're gonna start getting killed. That's just the rule.
Yeah.
And for me personally, part of me was like, come on, get to it.
Yeah.
The horror fan of me was like, get to the killing. But
I had no idea there was killing to be done. I was like, is this like one of those coming of age stories with like rich kids? That's
with like a little, like maybe a little bit of commentary on Me Too and women not being believed and power structures. And you're like, here's a guy with a sledgehammer now, and they're locked in there with him.
Wait a minute.
The phone.
The score sort of changed a little bit, and there was like a little bit of foreboding. I was like, oh, is this a horror film? Oh, this will be fun. Maybe that guy will get killed. I was really, really, really mad at the administrator guy that kind of.
Oh my god,
the principal.
Yeah,
I was like, man, I hope this isn't a horror film, and I hope he gets it.
That was way over the top.
It was super over the top.
And I was like, how dare. But yeah, I walked into it completely blind because I mean, normally I would have looked up, more and stuff, but I just.
You're like, this is my homework. Here I go.
I think she did a good job of the big problem with modern horror movies is if they don't take place in the woods, why don't you just get on your phone and call somebody? Or why don't you just break a window and get out? That's what I would do. Right. But she right off the bat just says, okay, here's what's up. Boom, boom, boom.
There was heavy foreshadowing with
just really
all of the
I did like the I'm going to assume it was intentional, but the part about putting in just ramping up security systems for the school, I thought was beautifully ironic in that it does exactly the opposite and keeps them trapped inside. Also, it's very corporate sponsorship of American education, which was because even during the football game, they like have the owner of the glass company or whatever come out and
showing off his wares.
That's how. That's what they do.
Unbreakable glass. Yeah. It kind of gave me shades of like the early parts of like Wayne's World, where they always make fun of the sponsor for coming on. And like I even in high school where I went, like we always had like the Lassen High Boosters is proudly sponsored by, Domino's, and like the Noid would come out
Oh
or
my
whatever.
God.
The Noid would come
Lucky.
out and he'd throw coupons at halftime to get, a $1 slice of pepperoni.
Yeah.
I vaguely recall there being some advertising, but mostly like in the school newspaper, like there would be advertising pages, and when I was in yearbook, we had to go get advertising stuff there. But very pretty unobtrusive at the sports ball games.
That's good.
Just like little flyer,
That's pretty good.
sign things.
I was curious, and this is going to be some spoilers for folks. So the math teacher, do you think he really was inappropriate to Jane? Or was that Merrick being like, look, I come from rich money. If we just accuse this guy,
no. It is.
I mean, he's a dick to Jane for sure.
Sure.
I'm
He
sorry,
wasn't
you said
appropriate, but he
Merritt,
wasn't-
but I heard Jane, and I'm like, no. It's actually implied that Jane doesn't come from money.
No, Merritt. I mean,
Yeah. No, sorry. I could really go either way. I think part of it, or I think it's as likely that the guy like crossed a line as it is likely that Merritt is just like, let's just fucking take this guy down, because I can get the principle like wrapped around my finger. I know shit on him. My family is rich and powerful.
He absolutely crossed a line. It just wasn't a sexual line, and she just sort of implied that it was.
Right. Okay.
Even still, though, I mean
but he became absolutely unhinged, and she had every right to be like,
sure.
I'm not comfortable here.
For sure. But I know that Leanne Kerr like talked about like just with like the gore, sometimes not showing it is worse. And so I think that she leaves it really open to interpretation by wanting you to like take it as far as your brain wants you to go with it.
That's
actually
true.
That actually makes you want to jump to something that Cable wrote with the kills. He said, when student body veers from a studying teen angst to teen slasher horror, it does it efficiently. The choice to be minimalist with the kills was effectively jarring to me. Spoilers, both Nadia and Ellis's deaths were so quick and so final, so real, it raised the tension almost immediately.
That's
very elegant kills.
I agree with the minimalism. I felt that there was minimalism in the violence and minimalism in the sexuality. Like in horror movies, it's if you have sex, you're gonna get killed. There was there a kiss at all? There was almost a kiss.
There was almost a kiss until the vomit.
You know what I mean? That's like everything was very reduced.
Yeah.
In its intensity.
Oh, and later there was almost a kiss, and then there was a sledgehammer.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. They didn't quite make it.
Right.
So it was all pretty chaste, honestly.
Yeah. No.
Implications very uncommon for a teen horror slasher.
Chaste is a good way to put it. It was very hands off in many ways.
Yeah.
Which
implications that like there were like things that happened and hookups and stuff, but it was not front and center in the story, and it wasn't front and center.
Merritt did say that she and Ellis said that he and Merritt had hooked up, and it didn't mean once or twice, and it didn't mean anything, and so it's in the story kind of, but but everything just felt a little bit. I was making notes when we were watching it the second time, and the word light comes up a lot. It's just, you know what I mean? Like everything's just a little bit lighter.
Yeah. And the kills never felt, this happens a lot in horror, especially in teen slashers. Especially when a woman is the victim of the killing. It didn't feel exploitive.
No.
The killer in this movie just fucking hates these kids and wants them all to die.
All
but one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one could also argue this is the most violent exploration of grooming that has ever been made.
Yeah.
All right.
And I mean, towards the end, you know, the classic last girl alive moment was
Mhm.
pretty choice, honestly.
Mhm.
Without
I-
going into detail.
I wish they had spent more time around raising suspicion about who the killer might be.
That's
There were
another element where like
Yeah.
there's a red herring, but you didn't spend that much time on it. So I don't know how well you really sold me on believing it might have been this other person.
yeah.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that
Yeah. Yeah, it pretty much telegraphs it pretty quickly that it's. I mean, we could just say it, that it's the math teacher.
there we go.
I mean,
I
they
don't
lean
know
into
that-
that pretty heavy.
I don't know that it was ever really meant to be a mystery. The other illusions felt like, you know, just the mad accusations of drunk, terrified teens.
Not a mystery necessarily, but that's a pretty popular trope of horror movies. Is like you're like, oh, I bet it's this person because look, we found her diary and she
We found
said
their hate book.
some terrible things,
God, I'd love to read
but
that.
never followed up on it to the extent where I thought maybe that was true.
Yeah.
I wish that they had gone a little further, or gone a little further into Your Penis and You. Either book would have been fine from the movie to talk about.
Well, in a way, this was like the anti-Scream, where they do like the killer is on this poster and it shows 12 characters.
Yeah.
You know, this one they're like, no, that's the killer.
You know.
I mean,
The killer is this
why
guy.
even spend any time with giving the teens time to talk about how it might be the coach?
I would have believed it was Brody
No, Brody's not
more
getting
more
drunk.
often than yes, except for there wasn't a whole lot of tension between them until Brody punches French, and then French just kind of goads him into it until it happens.
Right.
So, like, yeah, there wasn't that sort of like ominous tension, suspense about, you know, oh, the killer could be anybody. And that would have been nice. That would have been.
Yeah.
I think it would. There was the option.
If you open the door, we should be walking into that room at least a little bit, and all we
That's
did
fair.
was like see from a distance that the door had been opened.
I really wanted to hear more about that diary because it really, like the way French described it, and plus, like they showed her the PE teacher with the mug that says lumber logging regional champ, and she's got like she knows how to use an axe or whatever. I'm like, and she's got this 7 bottles of whiskey in her drawer and a diary of horrible things. And I'm like, oh God, come on.
Yeah, it was well beyond a non-zero amount. At which they were like
Yeah.
maybe the coach. Can we? With the one element of this movie that I thought was perfectly done, like totally to archetype and performed, is actually the character of Merritt.
That was good.
Everything about
That's
her
great.
just exuded mean girl, like just like rich bitch, you know, too cool for even my own friends, and somehow I'm still friends with this weird loser vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, compare, like stack that up against any other character of that type, and I think that they are on par for sure.
Yeah.
She was fantastic with that.
Yeah.
She had a really good, you know, a good character monologue moment. You know, the bursting forth and coming clean and stuff. That was really nice.
But I also even really appreciated like how unfucking subtle she was about stuff. So, you know, so Jane and Ellis are gonna go off together to look for her bracelet, you know, and she doesn't care for that. And so immediately she's like my mom's gonna nail my labia to the wall if I'm not home knitting a doily when she comes home tonight.
Really good dialogue.
Like, you could not be any less subtle about the fact that you're like, if you guys go off together, I'm gonna leave without you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's multiple instances of that, and I like you could look at that as like maybe like a lack of nuance in the writing, but I actually, for her character, really appreciated like she's like, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to be honest with you, but you know I'm not being honest with you. I'm just being a bitch because I don't want you to do that.
Right. And she has an opinion of like, and also Jane, you owe me for all that I've done for you.
She's actually quite mean to Jane throughout the whole film, even though they supposedly love each other and are longtime childhood best friends.
Merritt's
Yeah.
so resentful
Well,
of
and
everything that she had to do and everything that Jane has,
Mhm.
and she made her look like an asshole.
And there is a weird kind of darkness truth to the fact that the math teacher, Mr. Anspach, for all the horrible things he does kind of help Jane pull all of her layers away.
Yeah.
It's wrong and it's messed up.
Yeah.
But there is a twisted argument that Jane might end this stronger than she started and not completely broken.
She's going to remember the memories of her previous clones. Pulled a Duncan Idaho on her.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I mean, even before she has her like final face-off with Anspach, she already does things to, I don't know, take the lead in her own life.
Mhm.
Yep. That's totally, yeah, absolutely.
And that's
So-
not where she's at when we meet her.
No,
Yeah,
not at
sure.
all. She's
No.
like this like mousy, weird girl with scraggly hair and dirt on her face.
And a
I'm
concerned
not,
look.
I'm not sure what that's about. She actually has like unbrushed hair.
She live in the
Even-
woods.
It
She
seems like
went into the woods. There was
There-
some dialogue of her, really loving nature, and so you first see her, and she's like, "Oh,
Was that in order to make her look awkward
I'm not
up
sure.
against the cool kids?
I thought at first they were like, is she gonna have some weird power that is gonna be like nature focused and we're not gonna see it until the final battle? And
She
I'm
lives
like,
in the
oh no,
woods.
she just likes the woods.
I mean, that is popular right now, but no, but like just because you take a walk in the woods before school does not explain why you have tangled hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dirt.
She went
I mean,
for a
okay, maybe
roll,
the dirt, but not the tangled hair.
roll in the
Right.
woods. Yeah.
I also want to mention something that Cable said, and I also agree with him on this. I was I've enjoyed her in what few films I've seen her in, but I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised on Harley Quinn Smith because she kind of always plays like, at least what I've seen her in, she kind of plays either like the vapid blonde or kind of the squee kid.
Hmm.
And in this one, I kind of liked her being like the angry jock.
Yeah.
it's
That
actually
literally-
closer to her what seems to be her regular personality." From
That seems
just,
to be the
like,
real Harley, actually.
yeah, from her
Yeah.
guesting on like Kevin Smith's podcast and
Mm.
stuff.
Yeah.
It was very close to, what she was as
It-
her. I
that's-
thought it was really nice.
Yeah. That I wondered if how much of that performance was her and how much was the character. I think she brought a lot of herself to the. Yeah, she's a jock, but also she wears fishnet stockings and a fishnet, apparently a body suit. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
stuff that's like, I don't think that's what the character was described as in the script. I think that she brought a lot of that to the role and
Right.
felt natural that way. I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
She's
And
always been pretty fashionable. So.
I see. Mm-hmm.
And I did she probably has my favorite out of all of them. Like personally for me, she probably has my favorite death in the movie, but I'm also a sucker for the character that likes go without me and like locks the door.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you hear, don't turn around. Even though I knew like, oh, she's dead.
Yeah.
But I was not expecting how just
Anticlimactic.
it was like one punch, donk down. I'm like, well, I guess that is what happens if you take a sledgehammer to the head. But
I guess this
Yeah.
is what the penguin would really look like. I
Right.
want more fantasy in my horror.
It makes sense though, like just because she's athletic and angry, and
Mhm.
I think she had like a crowbar,
She had a crowbar, yeah.
does not necessarily mean you're gonna get even one hit in against someone who's probably killed before.
If
Yeah,
I
and
want
I-
realism in my horror movies, I'll watch the news.
Wah, wah.
Womp womp. But
I
yeah,
mean,
no,
Into the Temple is pretty much,
that's it. These
the
are
end. Yeah, that's the
that's your buttons
softest
right there.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not.
No, I mean that's true, but like I'm like, oh, I'm like so geared up for like horror movie trope that like that happened. I was like, oh, damn, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very diverse cast, wasn't it?
It was actually, yeah.
Had two white people, and they were both weirdos.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like the kind of the more comic relief, not you know what I mean? The more the comic relief characters, which
Right.
is usually reserved for minority actors in the olden days. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, that's true. I did appreciate that for sure.
No, that's it, and that's true. French and just keep referring to her as Harley.
Nadia.
Nadia, they did have the most humor elements to their characters and their types.
They were the least straight ahead in their arcs or whatever, like
Right.
not at least serious, I guess.
I saw someone online that had saw this movie and they're like, "There's no way Harley's character would be attracted to that just super nerdy dork guy," and I felt like replying like, "Have you seen her boyfriend?"
I was just gonna say that. Have
Like,
you seen her
That
boyfriend?
was a lot of like natural casting there, actually, and that's not a dig on anyone. It's like so yeah. I can tell Denise is looking him up right now.
I am.
Oh
looking,
wow!
no! Those I was like, oh my god, it's exactly the
Was
same.
that not him?
It looks exactly like.
It's
the same
it's not
dude.
him, but it looks almost exactly like him.
Wow! All right.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I actually really dig that. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I mean, overall I enjoyed it. I'd recommend it.
No, I think she actually might be dating that guy. They have a lot of pictures together.
Oh,
Maybe
is
that is
that
him.
the same guy?
Austin Zadger. That's the same guy
Oh,
from the movie.
Ooh, did they meet on set?
I mean, unless they're doing a Lady Gaga and what's his face, where they did that romantic
Satan?
performance.
Satan.
oh yeah, no,
Bradley
that really is
Cooper.
him. They've been together since 2019.
Okay, neat.
Mhm.
Which I should actually know because I listen to Fat Man Beyond, and sometimes Kevin mentions how she has now finally moved out and is living with her boyfriend, and like he lived with them during the lockdown because he had nowhere else to go.
Yeah, I
Or like
it was-
remember him
no,
mentioning that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there have been other dudes. I'm not like finding dates or whatever, but there've been other dudes. They're all kind of goofy looking white boys. Very
Nothing
tight,
wrong with that.
but-
I mean, you've seen her parents. It worked for them.
Well, Norma was in the chat when we were talking about how it seems like that angry jock might actually be like her actual self and not the character strictly her character that she was playing. Norma says that's just the universe balancing itself out because Kevin Smith gives a golden retriever, who ate an edible gummy energy.
no, it's not. I've actually seen reaction videos of both of them, like watching superhero movies, and they act identical.
Yeah.
Is she a big sap too?
Oh yeah, she's a huge sap. Yeah. Oh,
Ha.
yeah.
The apple
Awesome.
doesn't fall
Yeah.
far from the tree there.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
What?
And their podcast, Vegan Abattoir, is actually kind of hilarious.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I think you might dig it. I don't think it's available streaming almost everywhere. You can get it on Prime. You can get it on Apple TV. I'm sure there'll be a physical release of it one day.
Someday.
Yeah, I don't know if like hardcore slasher horror fans are gonna dig it. Like if you go into it thinking you're getting like a version of like My Bloody Valentine or Prom Night, like you're not getting that.
That's kind of what I expected. I really did expect modern horror really ramped up the the gore and whatnot.
Yeah,
so.
I actually had to watch it twice to kind of reset my expectations because the trailer makes it think that's what it is, and even the poster does to an extent.
Yeah.
So
I didn't have that problem. I was
so
the
like
murdering
Eden
was a
knowing fuck
pleasant
all, how did it
surprise.
work on you? You know? Sorry.
It was a
The
cutie.
murdering was a pleasant surprise. I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, being that I walked into it completely blank, you know, I just sort of sat back and enjoyed the ride, and you know, took it as like a little teen figuring out your world thing that then turns to violence.
I am
And
totally
just sort of
gonna
let it happen.
I am totally gonna tweet that quote to the filmmakers and production company.
The murder
See if
was
they
a
use it as
pleasant
a blurb.
surprise.
The murdering was a pleasant surprise.
That was really good.
And like based on, you know, having watched the film and also having like listened to that interview and the conversation that you guys had, I mean, is it going to be like it's not a groundbreaking film, it's not genre bending. It is exactly what I think you can expect from a young budding auteur who has a lot to say about, you know, things that she has experienced in her own young life.
Yeah.
That is true. I definitely watch more forthcoming from her. See where she takes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what else she does. Well, you know, like, yeah, she mentions it in the interview. She's working on a ghost story.
Coming of age ghost story.
She said that's what actually scares her are ghost stories.
Yeah.
So
she don't mess with haints.
Well, if she comes at it with the same kind of, I don't know, subtlety that this movie had, that's going to be real interesting. I definitely watch it. I kind of dug how subtle this one was, and it wasn't just like gore. Ugh. It was sudden, and the fear was very natural, I think.
yeah, I think so too.
Oh, I
Nice.
do have some
Oh,
technical
do it.
digs.
Okay.
And when Jane goes to see the principal, the teacher after school at the end of the day, and the clock says 2:00.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was pretty early in the day.
At 2:00. And the other one was every time that they were like blocking the door with with tables, you know, to like keep the dude from going in. I'm like 99.99% sure that doors would open the other way.
It opened in.
So all he has to do is open the door and then climb over the table. You're not actually preventing him from opening the door.
I thought you were going to mention Merritt's ankle.
Oh my God, Merritt's ankle. Yeah. It's at one point Merritt has like a busted ankle from getting, I don't know, sledgehammered a little bit or something. The point is she's not supposed to be able to walk on it, but I don't think she actually commits to which ankle is the injured one.
Oh.
And either way, like whichever one is supposed to be the bad one, like you're getting around just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice. Room to grow.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited. So
Still watch it. It's a fun film.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just don't look at too many details like I
Maybe
did.
they didn't have a script editor or something. Or
Yeah.
what is the title called?
Script supervisor.
Script supervisor.
Script supervisor. That's the word I was
Yeah.
looking for.
Continuity.
Yeah.
Continuity. Yes.
Yeah.
I know film things real good.
That's good.
Movie.
Well, we can go from the student body to the sands of Tatooine now. Right? Yeah. Fett.
All I think about is bat. And he turns into a Mandalorian and runs away. Boba Fett.
That would be awesome, actually. Great. But not you, Guillermo.
No.
Denise, what are you doing at your desk?
Sharpening a pencil.
Nothing.
Your mic picks up everything.
Working on her toothbrush shiv, prison
Yeah.
shiv.
Yeah. For the
It's just that my
inevitable day.
desk is where all my stuff is, but now that I'm not at home all day every day, I'm never with my stuff unless I'm doing the show. And I'm like, oh, right, I'm at my desk. That's where I can fix this like busted ass pop socket and stuff.
That's where my stuff
Sorry,
is.
sorry, it is. This is where all my things are, but I don't
Wait, is
hang
that
out
what
at
you
my
can't?
desk anymore.
You can't use your desk like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday. I'm in love.
I'm at work all day. I have a different desk now.
My desk. That's
my-
where I'm a Viking.
But like, okay, never mind. I was like, but you get home after work and you still have your desk.
But my desk is where I work.
You don't
And
want
I
to bring your work home with you?
I go to work and I sit at a desk and do things there, and then at the end of my workday, I come home and I do not sit at this desk because I am done working.
No more jobs.
I have
Yeah.
sort of that same issue when I'm working from home. I'm sitting here, and then if I want to craft or do anything in my lair afterwards, I'm at this desk here.
Totally different environment.
Yep.
Yeah, just a little turn, a little 90-degree.
Different.
Makes all the difference. Fit.
All right. So yeah, Book of Boba Fett.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean,
Very
you could
enjoyable.
dive into details and stuff. Since I didn't go into it thinking it was going to be every story that I made up in my brain over 25 years of how I think Boba Fett should be,
Mhm.
I was just there for the ride.
It's old Boba Fett too, so you know.
Yeah,
Except for all the flashbacks.
right. But like, well, he was even kind of old there in the flashback. Oh, you mean like when he was a kid?
No, I mean like right after the Sarlacc pit. Like that's his flashback goes back to the last time we see him,
Right.
and then what happens?
And I guess then he's like 41. So he's supposed to be, he's like 46. And I've heard folks like, well, he just looks so much older. I'm like, well,
You got
also,
Sarlacc, baby.
I had to do a
That's
bunch of
Sarlacc.
math, and then finally I'm like, it's fine.
well, and also it's like Indiana Jones says, it ain't the years, it's the miles. And
Yeah.
those are some hard miles being a space bounty hunter. And then, yeah,
And
got
then like
stirred
being
up.
like
That's
partially
acid.
digested.
yeah.
By Sarlacc. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then wandering the desert when your body's not designed to wander the desert.
That's a good
Yeah.
point too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got past that pretty soon.
And we
it
don't
worked-
know exactly how long he was essentially a slave for before he finally like won their hearts. So
Oh, with the Tuscans.
with the Tuscans.
Oh, yeah. I guess in my mind, like that was like a 6-month period. I don't know why I stuck on that, but
That's
That's
fine.
Yeah.
I mean, any amount of slaving is too much. So
Let's get that on the record.
Yeah.
I don't
Definitely,
know.
yeah.
I don't know if they were slaving
Anti.
it or if they just enjoyed abusing him.
I think they enjoyed abusing him and the
Yeah.
and the Rhodian, that rat.
I know. Jeez.
Snitches get stitches, Rhodian.
That's right.
I would say overall, it wasn't my favorite of the Star Wars series that have come out, but I didn't hate it. I eagerly, like every week, was ready to watch the next episode.
Yeah, totally. And I think it works better if you go into it. Well, I guess the title makes you think this initially, but if you go into it thinking this is going to be Boba Fett like kicking ass and taking names for 7 episodes, like you're going to be disappointed. But it's not. It's more like an anthology of Boba Fett's life and how he wants to essentially start over.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone in the show, even when he wasn't really in an episode, he's connected to every single person in that episode one way or another.
Yeah.
So this is the book of Boba Fett. It's like how Jesus isn't in every chapter of the Bible, but or of the New Testament, but like,
You're right.
It's his book technically, I guess.
Yeah,
The
right.
New Testament.
No, it is. It's about a guy who has essentially aged out of his profession and needs to pivot to a new industry. But
eventually you want to get out of the line cook business and be a manager.
right, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, not just leave the job, but leave the way the job made you. Because
Right.
he became a lot more moral and a lot more ethical, even though he's a crime boss. He's like an ethical crime boss.
I mean, he is a crime boss, but like also look at it from his perspective. He has seen the Republic, the old Republic, suck. He has seen the Separatists suck. He's seen the Empire. Pretty much, if you don't have something to offer of somebody, the Empire or the Old Republic or the Separatists, in terms of credits or spice or physical labor to be exploited, like they don't give a shit about you. And he's like, this is Tatooine.
Yeah,
like even though it has basically become the most important planet in the galaxy for some reason, it's still fuck all happens here.
Read Another Planet. Yes, no, absolutely. When every government that you have seen, and you've seen several, has failed you, all you can do is do for yourself. You know what I mean? Like when everything that every government treats you like a criminal, you set yourself up in crime, but that crime is protecting you. And you see that he says that, I think, in the last episode too. Like, these are my people. I'm going to protect my people.
Yeah.
Do it. He's a renegade.
Yeah, I would love, like, I know a lot of time's going to pass, and I don't think we'll ever do this, but part of me would love to see Tatooine, I don't know, a year or so before The Force Awakens. And, he's going to be much older. He'll be in his 60s or whatever, late 60s or something like that. Mm-hmm. I would love to now show up on a Tatooine that is essentially united. Like the Tuskens run a lot of, like, it's a united planet. It's built up its own thing. Maybe they've got water to flow again. And
And how can this be? For he is the Kwisatz Haderach.
That's right. But I love the idea of like General Leia, Organa, like go in here and be like, look, I know we had beef, but like, I'm going to need help. And he's like, nah, no,
I can't afford. I got to protect my people. I can't afford to be running around.
Yeah. And he's like, also, what did your government lead to? Oh, another budding war.
Yeah.
She's like, what happens when the new order comes? I'm going to tell them to go pound it also. They'll be dealt with, because Tatooine is a harsh place to combat.
Yeah.
And we know this planet.
They don't have desert power.
That's right. That's right.
It's going to bring it all back.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that. I did like his. I liked the story. I liked that concept of him abandoning his being a bounty hunter, going out into the galaxy, and instead just kind of focusing up and circling up and creating just your own little space. The introvert Star Wars fan over here was like, yeah, that's where it's at. Just pile all your stuff around you and defend it.
Right. Yeah.
That is basically what I dug about it. It's like, yes, I do want to see this. Please tell me how you deal with the local magistrate. Yes. This is
I love that stuff. Robert Rodriguez, man. Rodriguez knows how to do that stuff.
Oh,
I mean, I'm a Trekkie. I'm all about that space diplomacy. So, yes, tell me all about the ins and outs of your bureaucracy and how you're going to destroy it.
And I just wanted to see the baby again.
I would like.
And you did a little bit.
You did.
In his mithril shirt.
I know. I always think that too.
It is a little chain link. It is very light silver.
Yeah, it is a kingly gift.
It is.
I love Amy Sedaris' character, and I was so excited to see her come back.
Oh, she just that one little bit in the last episode was just gorgeous. Just
love her.
Perfect.
I don't think we've seen Amy Sedaris go full Amy Sedaris since Strangers with Candy. She's done a lot of stuff over the years, but
right.
Greg and I were definitely pointing out, like, oh, that is such a Jerry Blank moment. Little things that she was doing.
The one thing from her I never would have expected was like the hardcore broken tooth spit out and then shooting back. Like the,
Hey, she's a tough old Tatooine broad. Okay,
she's a frontier lady who likes she likes furry things.
But she's also worldly, because she knew the phrase "the Force works in mysterious ways."
Yeah.
This
think
Not that many people talk about the Force.
that came up a few days ago. How much news gets to Tatooine? Yeah, that's where Luke Skywalker's from. But does any backwoods moisture farmer know what's like? I got to focus on what I'm doing here. We got a new government. Okay, somebody blew up the old one or whatever.
I do feel like some of the towns, like maybe not most. I also like how they suggest that Mos Eisley is still a shithole. They're like, no, we're not going there. But I get the idea maybe that there are like, you can do like star tours almost. Where like Mos Espa's trying to like drum up tourism. They're like, come to the home of Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. Walk in the steps of those who brought balance to the Force. And like they get history all wrong.
Yeah. Just whatever works, whatever gets butts in the seats. Yeah.
Here is where the deadly bounty hunter Boba Fett was thrown into the Sarlacc. We're gonna have to fix that part of the tour.
Totally.
Come to Trejo's Tacos just outside Boba Fett's palace.
I really wanted to see more of him.
I did too.
We might. I know we're going to get an action figure eventually. There's no way that doesn't happen.
Oh yeah, no, that he's such a huge. Everyone loves Danny.
Yeah. I knew the moment I realized this was like a Robert Rodriguez joint. I'm like, he's showing up eventually. Either as a voice of a droid or there's just
candle burning right now.
Yay!
Mine's over there.
Yes. Oh yeah, because what's his name does the voice of Boba Fett's droid?
Matt Berry.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is going to be a tie-in to Matt Berry's new movie that's going to be in the BBC first, Toast of Tinseltown.
Yes.
I've been cast in a Star Wars. Well, the whole point of Toast of Tinseltown is he leaves London because he has been casted. He's like, I've been cast in a fantasy sci-fi epic that I can't tell you about. And the next scene is like, I'm in a Star Wars. So I figured Matt Berry's like, you know what? Let's just make a movie about me going to do a voice and he's like, screw it.
I think that'd be really cool. We'll have to catch up on Toast of London, but yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Matt Berry's entire catalog.
I'm a big fan of Westerns, so but just all of Book of Boba Fett has been a joy.
That's for me is when Star Wars works best, when it's either a samurai or a Western film, which in the grand scheme of things
is the same thing.
Kind of the same thing.
Very similar. Yeah.
Very, very similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a live Cad Bane, which was cool.
That was super cool.
He was really good.
I think
people have been talking about it so much as like this Star Wars fan wet dream for years. Well, ever since the live things became a thing, to the point where I'm like, it's not going to happen. That's just everyone's wishful thinking. And so, you see that silhouette from the distance, and you're like, is it? I think it can't be. It is.
And then it's the hat that comes up like that, and it's like, oh.
And he's like that much more of a character in real life versus the animated.
He's frightening. He's really he really puts off so much more of a threatening vibe.
Bane is a bad dude. Do not fuck with him.
I had no idea.
No.
I had no idea. I thought he was great. He was my favorite part of Clone Wars, and then turns out he's a bad guy, and I'm severely disappointed.
No, he's awful. I think that's also the one time in all of the Book of Boba Fett where I had that jump off my couch and like, oh shit. Like, part of me kind of felt like we're probably gonna get Ahsoka and Luke and maybe Groot. Like, I felt like the quote cameos we got, even though it was a entire episode and a half, I kind of saw those all coming one way or another. I did not see Cad Bane coming. I wanted it to, and I know Cable was hoping to, and I was like, is that almost too deep of a cut Like even for Filoni to be like, I'm going to bring this one in from the Clone Wars also.
That shot of Cad Bane and Cobb Vanth, just 100% Western showdown in the dusty town.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I got the good shivers.
I kept expecting to hear that lone harmonica, like at the opening of Once Upon a Time in the West, just that slow, And as soon as that deputy came out, I'm like, well, you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
You're going to ruin all of this.
Yep. You screwed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all that happened was the last episode. That's the only thing that happened in the entire show. It was just
I mean, it was a lot of buildup and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like. Go ahead.
How did you feel about the extended Mandalorian mini
season 2.5 kind of thing there?
Yeah.
I liked it. It felt weird. Like it felt weirdly out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd have been happy with, oh my God, I'm going blank. The assassin.
I got nothing. All I can think of
is Wen's character, who she plays. Fennec Shand.
Oh yeah.
I half expected when she has that episode where she says, I've got some favors I can call in, basically. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm like, okay, that's the Mandalorian.
Sure.
That's who it's going to be. I kind of thought we were just going to have him show up 10 minutes into the next episode of like, you called,
mm-hmm.
and that was going to be it. I didn't expect the whole, like, here's a weird mid-season for you. Just,
yeah. I mean, I missed him, I missed his voice and everything. I missed the baby, but yeah, it was really kind of jarring for it to be so extended in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like zero connecting it back to what Boba Fett is up to in those 2 episodes.
But I think it's just there to remind us all that Filoni and Favreau are building to a much bigger, with all these shows, with Ahsoka, with the other one we're going to get. Like, I feel like they've made no kind of secret that the fact that like in a couple years, we're getting the Disney Plus movie that's leading all to this one movie.
Oh wow!
With like the edge of Star Wars characters.
That'd be awesome. I like the edge. Yeah.
All while. Go ahead.
I would like a series explaining the lives of these brightly colored
the mods,
space mods. I found them fascinating. And the fact that final episode there was this like rivalry between them and the like more rural kids. I need to know more about that. I need that. I need kids on bikes.
Mm-hmm.
This guy right here is your mods people.
There with you.
I need more of them. I need to understand them and their ways because there's a story there that was not served here, and I understand why it's not, because it's not about them.
It's not about.
But holy crap, do I need to know all about their lives?
Yep.
And where they hang out and what they do, what their home life is like,
City
and
kids.
More about this feud with the rural kids, and give it to me.
Yep. I was from the moment they showed up, I'm like, oh, it's their body modification kids, these mods. And then they came out and I was like, are you showing me scooters? Are you showing me scooters with lots of review mirrors on them? Lots of view mirrors? I was like, quadrophenia. Yes.
I do want to interrupt you just briefly to point out how excited you are about those scooters. And yet when I start talking about scooters, you quietly leave the room.
Shoot. I'm going to have to buy you a parka.
That's not going to cut it. Carry on.
No. That's the first step.
Whenever you're ready to start the scooter gang, I'm ready to go.
You know what? Now I'm more into
scooter
it.
Gang, by the way.
I've been ready. Bitch, I've been ready.
Get my coat, get my skinny black tie.
Hell yeah.
We could all cosplay as the mods. Just drive around town causing a ruckus.
On Bean's ruckus.
I just, again, like
I
it
love
felt
them.
they
Yeah.
didn't feel like they really super belonged at first, and like it was kind of a weird, jarring thing, just like brightly colored amongst this background of tan. But the moment I got like a little nugget of context, I was like, yes, but tell me more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me more of this context.
Isn't that a thing,
Because
though?
this is fascinating. And I love a good mod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Isn't that a thing, though? The you grow up in a dusty town, like you're the only peacock in in the chicken coop.
mhm.
I gotta
need
be
to
me.
know about them.
Mhm.
I need to know all of their names and all
And
of
how you like
their likes.
you find each other too.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
You know,
And that's why they were stealing water. That's why we had to talk to Stephen Root. Because
right.
the mods were stealing water. Why? To wash their bikes.
That's right.
Yeah.
They were. You're not going to drive around your sand scooter all dusty and
No.
sand
No.
pocked
That
and
chrome
stuff.
needs
You're gonna,
to shine
that's what you do.
in the
Mhm.
I mean,
sun.
that's all you have. You know what I mean? The same
Mhm.
thing with the mods in England. It's like that's what you had. You had fashion, and you had your scooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They brilliant.
Yeah, and it weirdly also kind of reminded me of like lowrider culture in Southern California.
You
That,
trick
like,
out your thing.
You may not have the best house and you may not make a lot of money, but your lowrider is so good. Everything
Yes.
about it, and you spend every waking moment and money
Mhm.
keeping it cherry, keeping it
Is that-
fresh.
It reflects. It's how you present yourself to the world when you go cruising
Mhm.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, the only downside to the mods was that the chase wasn't very good. It just wasn't shot very
No.
well.
It wasn't.
But that's a technical thing.
My guy didn't
Um,
get shot, so that's all I care about. Spoilers.
I feel like they all kind of survive in the end. A couple of them get plugged, but you
The
then
ones
see
you
them.
know about.
Yeah, right, yeah. And that was something that, like, I don't care what some quote hardcore fan Lucas would totally have created.
Are you kidding me?
He put a 50s diner in his movie.
Right?
You
Jet-
know,
Who would have
Exeter.
loved that shit?
he literally had a scene that was a copy of American Graffiti and A New Hope, and people were like, "George, come on, man, you gotta cut this scene." But I really like cars that go fast. Look, just
Pod racing.
yeah.
It's like echoes.
Even if it was
Like
something
rhyme.
that he would not have approved of, I don't care.
Mm-mm.
He's not the boss of Star Wars anymore.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Although I do like that apparently Favreau and Filoni invite him back all the time
Oh, good.
and are like, "What do you think about this, George?" And he's like, "That's pretty cool."
He has definitely
Good
become
one.
like the Brian Wilson of Star
Yeah.
Wars.
I think he's even directed a couple scenes in The Mandalorian. Like they're like, "You want to direct this?" Like, okay,
That's cool.
yeah,
Okay. Here, let me put your hands on the camera.
yeah,
Action.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, he would have to be a huge nerd for the volume. That's like apex of technology filmmaking for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just got to
Yeah.
be his favorite thing ever.
It's like doing CGI without having to have the CGI. You know,
Yeah.
it looks even more real.
Norm talking about Black Cranston hip tossed a guy and then shot him. That was a good shot.
That was nice. Santo.
That was cool.
Santo.
Santo! That's a fun nickname for him.
Santo.
I do.
Black
empath-
Chrysanthemum was another character that I never thought I would see in live
No.
action. Like he does not, or no, I should take that back. I'm like, no. I think he only exists in the comics, right?
Dr. Aphra.
Yeah, Dr. Aphra.
And then some Darth Vader. But
I would-
so that was it had never once occurred to me that I would see Black Chrysanthemum on a live action.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
That was rad.
Didn't they actually admit that there is a Dr. Aphra show in their early planning?
I thought I remember that.
I thought I remembered that. I wouldn't be surprised to see her show up.
That means we're gonna get. That means we may get the murder droids.
I know.
I love those guys.
I mean, now I just want Disney Plus to start adapting some really good of the comic arcs. Like I would fucking love for them to do Vader Down. I don't know if any of you read
Vader
that.
Down was good. Yes, absolutely.
Jeez, that was just fantastic. Yeah, Vader Down was amazing. Especially because Vader even has that kind of Rorschach moment when he's literally surrounded by rebels And it's the whole like, no, you're down here with me. You know?
That would be good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Or Rogue Squadron. Dr. Aphra, I'm super excited about, though. I really enjoyed that series. So
Yeah.
I hope that.
It's a lot of
does
fun.
come. Yeah.
Mhm.
Who would you want to see cast as Dr. Aphra, though?
Ugh, I'm always bad at these.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not.
Taylor Swift.
Scarlett
Get-
Johansson.
Get
Not-
out.
Yeah, she could be an Asian character, I guess. Okay.
yeah, she's done it before. What can't she do?
I mean, Dr. Aphra might be Asian. We don't know.
Pretty sure she is.
Yeah.
She's kind of presented with some of those features. Like as Cable has often said, it's a tricky line to walk in that there are no Asians in Star Wars because it's Star Wars. There are no Mexicans, there are no Japanese. It's the same thing he has with like Avatar. He's like, it's not Earth, therefore, but also you have to walk that line. You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
None of them are real ethnicities, but also don't be a piece of shit. Norm is pointing out that he's bummed about Jennifer Beals' character dying when that mob bar gets blown up
By the Camtono.
Man.
What just happened to my light? But my argument is she didn't really have a story arc. Like, yeah, she was a cool character, and I know that like a lot of fans of the actress were really excited to see her, do a Star Wars, but she didn't have a story. So
She wasn't given a
Right.
You're right. She wasn't given a depth of character. That's true. I mean,
I don't know what else one would do with that character.
I do want to point out the little bit of we have to keep this character alive because the kids and the old school fans like him. Before the bomb, there's that panning shot, and it is the first time we realize that Max Rebo is not in the bar band at that time. He is always there, and when that camera does that 360 pan of the bar and you see the band, I'm like, yeah, Max Rebo, he left.
so close.
I
So
totally
close.
missed it. I guess I don't get excited about Max Rebo.
I do not.
He's also not on the sailing barge. There was a Star Wars like collection of short stories, and one of them was the Max Rebo Band. I think it was just called "We Don't Do Weddings," and it really explains like how he always realizes like it's time to go, boys. Time to get paid and move on to the next gig because something's gonna go down.
I remember you talking about this.
Tales from Jabba's Palace.
I think it was Tales from Jabba's Palace. Yeah. Also, I just thought maybe for Dr. Aphra, the actress Rinko Kikuchi.
Oh, I know that name. Do I?
Most people know her from Pacific Rim.
Ah.
Yeah, she's one of the Jaeger pilots.
Oh yeah.
I could kind of see that.
She has a face that implies funny but an asshole.
Yeah, that's
I could see her being an asshole, but in a way that is amusing to the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good. That's
Yeah.
definitely a good way to put that. Yeah. Oh yeah, she was in Brothers Bloom.
There you go, Disney. Give me a Star Wars now.
Yeah. Star His War.
Okay, if you were given you're given a 10 episode Disney Plus Star Wars show, what do you do?
Never.
That's the Mod Gang, duh.
Oh my god. Figure and Dan and the Modal Nodes. They're the Cantina band. There's a lot of crime. There's a lot of drugs. It's very. I think it's like I would love to see that as a very noir sort of. Dan's the guy, and he hates his job, but he's got to pay the bills, and he's in deep because he's been losing money on pod racing or whatever. Got to play these shitty gigs. He takes the gigs that Max Rebo won't do. Like the rivalry, but between him and Rebo, very all about Eve. He gave Max Rebo its start, and now Max Rebo's playing at Jabba's Palace, and Dan's playing in this shitty cantina in Mos Eisley. Oh God, it's all coming out.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, I'd watch that. Sure, why
Totally
not?
watch that.
I wrote a song from his point of view on my last solo album called "One More Happy Hour," and that's that whole day. It's like very Tom Waits sort of. My life is terrible, but while we're playing, it's all right.
I like Norm's focusing on the last remaining daughter of Dathomir from Jedi Fallen Order.
Please tell me more about that.
Oh, that's good.
She's all that's left after a bunch of basically the Empire wiped out all the witches of Dathomir, and she's the only one who's still left.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
I would love a series about the witches of Dathomir.
Their aesthetic is so cool.
You can throw in those other guys too.
Yeah.
The Knight Brothers.
Is that what they're called?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I believe they're called the Knight Brothers. Yeah. Yeah. I just love whenever the leader of the witches speaks. It's literally like the voice of all who came before her. So there's always that echo that repeats everything she says.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
That's rad.
I mean, I'm easy. I just basically do Lando's 11. Like, I just do Lando constantly scamming absolutely everyone. Like, every chance he gets.
Is he just barely getting by? Like the next big scheme is to pay off the previous scheme that didn't
Yeah, basically. I just don't know if I place it before he gets Cloud City or like a couple years after Jedi, where he's like, I don't want to be in this New Republic. That no, whoa.
No, I don't want to. Desk life is not for me.
There's no profit in this, and you ask me to, I'm going to sit still. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why not both?
Yeah.
Like
or that, yeah, he actually has like a position within the New Republic that has to do with literally with like trade and taxation, and he's just milking the system from both sides.
Oh wow. Yeah, okay. Yeah. There's you can find crime is where you find it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love it.
It's how in his mind, that's how he teaches the people who work for him to get better at their job. The moment he finally gets caught is when he's like, well, now I can quit. My job is done.
I was doing it all for you.
Yeah.
Yes, Lando, your job is done. You're fired.
I don't think so.
There's no more I can teach you. You're welcome.
Congratulations.
And then he releases a smoke capsule so that he can disappear, but he doesn't get out of the way fast enough. So like,
You can still see Kate.
I saw you go around the corner.
I can still see your cape
every time.
Oh my God. And that also means that like once a year, in my own headcanon now, Lando and Hondo meet at like some seedy bar and swap stories and profit and loss over the last year and realize that half the time they're screwing each other over. And just it's like a neutral ground.
Same money back and forth.
Yeah, they're just ripping each other half the time. And they're like, you know, Lando's like, Hondo, you sly devil.
You got me again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that neutral ground where they can like tally up. But don't forget that time on that planet. That was you? Ha ha. All right, check. That's one more for me. That would be really cool.
Yeah, treat it like, I don't know if anyone read like the Callahan series from Spider Robinson, but you totally treat it like the bar.
Yep.
Callahan's bar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no fighting, no nothing. It's just that's your neutral ground. That's really cool. Or the Continental.
Yeah.
No business allowed.
Yeah. That's it.
I love it. All of these.
Yeah, throw it up a little bit. You know, mix it up. You've got assassins. Yeah, basically it's just the underbelly of Star Wars, the show.
Yeah. Everything that happens underneath the shiny surfaces.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the dirty. I like the lived-in universe a lot.
I can just imagine, like, you know, Landy be like, you hearing Boba Fett's trying to run Tatooine? Ain't gonna be no money there. I mean, he's welcome to it, you know.
Better him than me, friend.
Yeah.
That would be so great.
All right, Bean, we give you time to think. What's yours?
You know, well, so Norm already beat me to like the Witches of Dathomir, which that would be a great one. That's one that I always would love to have more of. But another area where I'm like, I mean, maybe some of the books and games that I've never, engaged with cover more of this than I am aware of. But the Hutt, the culture, like the families, or clans, whatever they're calling them, and like their whole, like, like the core stories give you this one guy. And like, I think I probably grew up thinking like Jabba the Hutt, he is a Hutt, like that is the race. But it's more than that. Like, I think it's not just their race, but that's also like who they are socially, like in their power. It's like a family, but it's also a race. So like to really break that all down and like get to like really get into that mob family world with them.
Sopranos, Succession.
That's yeah, like a Sopranos type thing. Because I know that like the Solo movie touches on these crime syndicates.
Right.
But I think that like the Hutts are a bit more old world.
Wow, yes.
Like New York gangster style criminals, and it would be fun to have that style of story be told in the Star Wars universe.
They have a very different code, an older code, kind of like The Godfather versus the new, whether we don't deal in drugs, like
Right.
the new stuff, or like the Pike Syndicate, who are like just pew, 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 pew. And then the Hutts are like, there's no, that's not elegant.
Yeah. Lots of death is bad for business.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'd love to see that.
They've kind of hinted that the Hutts were kind of the only crime syndicate that had controlled a big chunk of space. Like, it's in Phantom Menace, you can't land there. The Hutts are gangsters. Like, it's Hutt space.
Hutt space.
Right. And but also they're big enough and powerful enough that on Tatooine, when they come to reclaim from Boba Fett, Jabba's throne, essentially, they're willing to barter or like negotiate and ultimately walk away from it, at least for now. Like, they're like, we can deal with this in our own way, a different way at a different time. Like, it's not so precious to us. Because they've got their hands in a million pies.
It's not one of those things where if you step to me, I have to crush you, kind of ego-driven.
Right, that New World mob
sort of thing. Yeah, that very New World thing. Yeah, no, I like that a lot. That's really cool.
It's literally a thing where you can see they're always running the numbers and being like, nah, not worth it. We'll come back when they're weaker, when it makes more sense.
We've got time.
Yeah.
The deal,
and they can't be affected by Jedi. Or at least not mentally.
They can't, that's right.
Did not remember that. Teal Warlock says that she would enjoy a Steve Irwin style show about the different animals and beasts on different planets.
There's your fantastic beasts.
That's a big recall. They can get mad real quick. I'm gonna touch it.
I would watch the shit out of that.
I would watch that like crazy.
Oh, I also apologize to any Steve Irwin fans because I don't know what he sounded like, so I just made that up.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't totally off.
Right. We got the idea, for sure.
Australian, enthusiastic, gonna touch the thing.
Want to touch the fishy.
That's right.
Grogu can host it.
Grogu.
You're gonna eat so many animals.
Yep.
Just a cooking show with Grogu.
It's like will it blend, but will it Grogu? Nah, there's no way he can fit. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah. I do like that part where Luke basically has to acknowledge, like, I have to. I get no force out of this little guy if he's not eaten.
Yeah. Grogu, the first Jedi school dropout.
Jedi school dropout.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Grogu Eats Nature is a great. That's a great
nice
title.
one.
Will it Grogu?
Yeah. No, I'm gonna go back and watch that scene with Amy Sedaris again when the X-wing starts to land and she's just everything. Stop it! Hide that over there.
Put that away.
Put that away.
Also, I love the concept of like, so Grogu chooses the chainmail,
Mhm.
So he's like, all right, a deal is a deal. I told him I would take him back to, to the Mandalorian. So, Luke's got to go to Ahsoka, and is like, Grogu has chosen. By my honor, I have promised to take him back to Mandalorian. So I'm going to hop in the X-Wing. Where'd he go? And she's like, he went to Tatooine. Fuck that place. Never going back there. R2, why don't you go ahead and why don't you go ahead and fly the X-Wing?
This one's on you, good buddy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
almost died there twice. I ain't going back there. I'm not pushing my luck.
I mean, if you had the choice, you would send someone in your place too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I need you to take this to Susanville.
Nope.
That's got it.
Yeah,
No.
Nope.
Yeah, you got this, buddy.
I'm using an astromech droid.
Oh my god.
Well, that seems like a good place to wrap up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
One last one from Norm.
Okay.
Jedi School Dropout is the name of my all hurdy-gurdy My Chemical Romance cover band.
Aw.
Ooh. Well, since we already made the quick little joke, a quick little bit of news from Paramount Plus. They're putting out a Paramount Plus feature film called a musical, Rise of the Pink Ladies, a prequel to Grease.
Wow. That's niche.
Okay.
Finally.
You gotta get that in before your market expires.
That's right.
Right. Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies.
That's a hell of a thing.
I can't tell if I'm excited that I don't recognize any of these names or
Yeah.
but
I mean, it just won't be the same if they don't cast 40-year-olds to play high schoolers.
yeah. Yeah.
That title sounds like a threat. Also, just wanted to put that out there.
Pink
A
Ladies.
little bit.
Rise of the
It sounds like we're going to be attacked by mutant apples.
Yeah.
Rise of the Pink Ladies. Yeah.
Attack of the Honeycrisp.
That's a real Northwest joke.
Yeah, it was.
We know what we're doing.
Yep.
They would be pies no more.
It's is it a movie? Oh, no, it's
Yeah,
a
movie.
series.
Is
Oh.
it?
Holy moly. And
Okay.
it better be a musical. That's all
They
I'm
said it
saying.
was.
Okay. Well, I can't even imagine like anything Grease related not being a musical. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I
Here.
can almost guarantee I will not be watching that.
I cannot make such a guarantee.
And they're doing a Beavis and Butthead movie where apparently they're older now.
Oh dear.
Mike Judge is writing it, so I'll give it a shot.
I might watch that.
No, that
Yeah.
sounds
Probably watch that.
everybody who enjoyed the Super Bowl halftime will probably be is just in hog heaven right now.
And I
Teen
hear
Wolf is going to get a series called Wolf Pack.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
fun.
Yeah.
It's not
Here, I
fun.
thought you were going to be bringing up the new Star Trek movie that will be coming out.
Oh yeah, also that. It's
Way to
official.
bury the lead.
The Kelvin timeline is getting one more movie. Like Abrams confirmed it, Variety reported it, Hollywood Reporter did it.
Yeah.
The same person who directed WandaVision will be directing it.
Okay.
And I forgot the people they brought in to help, but they're basing it off a script that has already been written that was apparently pretty good.
Yeah.
And they have flat out said there will be no Chekhov. They're not replacing Anton. They're just going to, I don't know how they're going to handle it in the script, but he's just not going to be in it.
Okay.
Poor guy.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I seriously was like expecting somebody to mention it all episode.
Oh my god, yeah, I totally forgot. I do hope they just bring back. I hope they just bring back Jayla. I like her a lot. I would just, just put her in the.
She was
put her in the
really
crew.
popular character, and like
Yeah.
I remember them speaking really, really highly of her in the making of like stuff. So
Yeah,
not
Yeah.
outside of the realm of possibilities.
yeah, I think it'd be cool.
How interesting. Yeah, good. I like those folks. It was a good crew.
Yeah.
And Knuckles is getting his own show
Ugh,
with Idris Elba doing all the sticking around his Knuckles.
sexy Knuckles.
Yeah. Anyway,
I have nothing to say to that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Same.
well, with that's where we should wrap up the show.
Okay.
Okay.
Cable will be back next week. Well, with that, I'm Aaron Duran.
I'm Being Rita.
I'm Christian Lipsky.
I'm Edelyn Broha.
Yay! We'll talk to everybody next week. Bye, everybody.
Farewell. Fett.